Hi, I'm Mike Stanzik and this is Digital Electronics Classroom. Thanks for joining us for this video today. We're going to be talking about the exclusive OR and the exclusive NOR gates in this video presentation. The exclusive OR is an important gate for binary addition, and as we get into later videos and look at that binary adder, we're going to see the exclusive OR and the role that it plays. It is a little bit more of a complex gate, and so we'll go into some of the detail in this video, but some of it we're going to leave for later videos or may not cover at all, depending if people are interested in that. Okay, so let's get started. So we're looking at the exclusive OR and NOR. So we call these XOR and XNOR. Okay, so, oops, actually I don't want this here. I was looking for something else. I'm just gonna build that. Do I even have one up here? No, I don't. Okay, good. Let's just move it up and out of the way. Okay. So I want to look at the truth table for these guys, and so let's go ahead and build one right here. So we'll have X and Y as inputs, and this will be a 2 input. X and Y as inputs, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and then we'll have the XOR and then the XNOR. So the XOR looks like an OR, but in this last row, instead of having a 1, it has a 0. And so that's to show its exclusivity. So it's excluding that last row. And an interpretation of this, if we were to write it out, is that it, an XOR says that we can have X equal to 1 or Y equal to 1, but not both. Okay, so that's what it's telling us here. Okay, and so this last row is the thing that changes there. So I'll just go ahead and highlight this last row. That's the change. Okay, the XNOR is simply the complement of the XOR. So it's the inversion of the XOR. That's how I want you to think about it. Okay, so this is going to be 1, 0, 0, 1. All right, so let's look at a couple of things that we can see about this. First off, what does the gate look like? So the XOR gate looks like an OR gate, but it has an additional curved line in the front. So this is the XOR. And the XNOR gate looks like a NOR gate, and it also has an additional line in the front. So there's our XOR gate and our XNOR gate, and what they look like as a circuit diagram. Okay. What about the algebraic expression? So an XOR has the operator of an OR with a circle around it. So XOR looks like that. The XNOR, the one we're going to use for the XNOR, looks like that same thing, but complemented, a bar over the top. So that's how we'll write XNOR, that's how we'll write XOR. So yeah, so there they are, there we have it. Okay. Right. What about their midterm expressions? So that is what that looks like as a XOR operator, but we can write a midterm expression for 2 inputs right here. So we have this output is a 1 for XOR, and this output is a 1, so we can see that it's going to be X not Y or X Y not. Y not. So it's X bar Y or X Y bar. So that's the midterm expression for the XOR. What about the XNOR? Well, the XNOR is just the complement of XOR, and we can just write the other 2 midterms here. And so it's going to be X naught, Y naught, or XY. Okay, and so that one here is the XNOR. Okay, great. So there's an introduction to our gates, XOR and XNOR. And let's move a little bit further and take a look at a 3-input gate. So what if we had something that looked like this? X, Y, Z, XOR. Okay, so that's a 3-input XOR right there. Expertly drawn, as you can see. Okay, so how would we solve something like that? So I'm going to do this in an algebraic way. So I want to look at what X XOR Y, quantity XOR Z is equal to. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a substitution here. So we're going to set X XOR Y to a value that we're going to call A. Okay, and so this then becomes A XOR Z. And we know what A XOR Z is because we found the midterms from above. It's just one and not the other, or the other and not the one. So this is going to be A bar and Z, or A and Z bar. Now if you need to scroll back to look at that, you can. I just can't fit it all on the screen at the same time. So that's why we're here like that. Okay. So now we need A bar and A to continue this derivation. So let's look over here what A and A bar are. Well, this is not bad because we have A is also an XOR. So that's going to be X bar Y or X Y bar. But what about A bar? So A bar is the XNOR of X and Y. And I will just kind of pop up really quick for that. So we can see that A bar is just these terms, the 0, 0 and the 1, 1. So we can write that as A bar is X, Y, both barred, or X and Y unbarred. Okay, and there we go. You can see where we get the formulas here. Let's kind of move down again. And we're going to have to do some substitution now. So A bar over here is going to be X bar, Y bar, or XY. So that comes from over here. And then that's ANDed with Z. Or we have A, which is X bar, Y, or XY bar. And that's ANDed with Z bar. Okay. And then if we expand this, we get X bar, Y bar, Z through this distribution, or X, Y, Z, or X bar, Y, Z bar, or X, Y bar, Z bar. So this is our function for a 3-input XOR. And I want to look at what minterms these are. So remember, if it's barred, it represents a 0, and if it's not barred, it represents a 1. So this is 0, 0, 1, or this is minterm number 1. This is 1, 1, 1, which is minterm 7. This is 0, 1, 0, which is minterm 2. And this is 1, 0, 0, which is minterm 4. So X XOR Y XOR Z is equal to the minterms 1, 2, 4, and 7. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so what does that mean? Well, we can see what its truth table looks like and see what its Karnaugh map looks like and see if we can come up with any more patterns that arise from that. So I'm going to go up to here and just remind us that F is sigma 1, 2, 4, 7. So that's row 1, 2, 4, 7. So it's 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. Let's put it into the K-map. Got X, Y, Z. Groups of 4. 0, 1, skip, 1, 0. 1, 0, skip, 0, 1. Okay, interesting. Do you notice that this is a checkerboard pattern? And that checkerboard pattern is definitely something. It's a pattern that we can see. And so what does it mean? Well, investigating a little bit further, we can look at the midterms themselves. And so we have this midterm, this midterm, this midterm here, and then this last midterm. And I'm not saying that I would make this connection immediately or that you should make this connection immediately, but others have made this connection and have pointed this out, that if you look at these midterms inputs, we'll note that there are either 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, or 3 ones. Any of the inputs that have 2 ones or no ones end up with a 0. So this is interesting because we're looking at the input combination and looking at whether the inputs are 0s and 1s, and then we're counting the number that are 1s. And it turns out that any input combination that has an odd number of 1s gives an output of 1 for an XOR. And so we call that type of function an odd function. So XOR is an odd function. I always said XOR was a little strange. Oh, it's terrible. See, that's what happened when I became a teacher. It's like dad jokes had to be a part of the classroom setting. And my kids, they laugh at me and they laugh with me, but I think it's all a positive. Okay, great. So this is the XOR. Let's look at the XNOR. So I am going to try to do something here. Oh, no, you know what? I'll use the mouse. Ba-ba. Oh, ho, ho. Magical. It's probably in my picture-in-picture. I'm going to put it over here. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you for your patience. So here's the XNOR. So the XNOR is just the complement of the XOR. So I'm going to choose the rows that don't have ones in them, so that end up in zeros in the function. And those are the ones that are going to be ones in our K-map. Alternatively, I could just look at the K-map for XOR and say, let's toggle all of those bits. And so what we see is also a checkerboard pattern. Oops, sorry. But this checkerboard pattern is even. It's an even function, okay? And so what we will notice here is that if I look at this midterm, it's 0, 0, 0 is a 1. We got 1, 0, 1. There's 2 1s in that input sequence. We got 0, 1, 1. There's 2 1s. And we got 1, 1, 0. There's 2 1s. So we have 0 or 2 1s in this one, and we have 1 or 3 1s giving 1s in the odd one. Okay. Well, that's all I have for today. I just wanted to introduce to you the 2-input and 3-input XOR and XNOR and show you the odd and even functionality of them, and show their gate diagrams and how we make sense of them, how we can write them as midterms. I hope you found this to be valuable for you, and we're going to see these again as we look at the binary adder, and that's one of its main uses that we'll see in this course. Okay, great. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Stanzik. This is Digital Electronics Classroom. Have a wonderful day.